What's going on, you guys? So this car's a Honda Accord. They got brought in for transmission issues, so they think. Went ahead and checked the oil on it, and if you don't know, it's down here at the bottom. And the oil is definitely dark. I don't know why it's not focusing. Well, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but the oil is definitely dark in the car. I just got done driving the car, and definitely something going on with it, because we got a little bit of a misfire on 4 and 5, and that's kind of what it feels like when you drive it. It feels like a misfire. But I'm gonna drive it again now that it's nice and warm, and with the misfire screen up, to see if it is misfiring or is a transmission problem. And then if the customer approves it, we're gonna go ahead and change the transmission oil and the filter in this car, just to see if it will fix the transmission problem. But usually when you find smoked oil in a car, usually the transmission's already done at that point. There's really no coming back from it. But obviously I'm not here to gouge customers or anything like that. I try to recommend the easiest and the cheapest fix first before they do the transmission. So I'm going to go test drive it one more time and see what's going on with it. Is it a misfire? Is it a transmission? And then after that, you know, if it is the transmission doing it, then like I said, we're going to recommend an oil change on it to see if it may go away. Because to me, it's really not that bad. It's kind of, like I said, it feels like it's missing a little bit. It's not skipping gears or slipping or anything like that. So we'll see. So we have no more misfires after driving it again. I did figure out that it does have a torque converter stutter. That is what's going on with it. You're driving it, the RPMs are all over the place, and you feel stutters in between shifts, which is really common nowadays. Everybody uses, I forget what the exact name of it is, but it's so you don't feel the shifts in between, you know, gear changes. So they modulate the torque converter to, like I said, so you don't feel the shifts, and it slowly brings in the torque converter, slowly brings out the torque converter, and pretty much what happens is wears out the valve body, wears out the torque converter after time, and then you start getting stutters because it's bypassing oil. We actually have, that's another car that had the issue. We went ahead and replaced the torque converter in that one. But for this lady, you know, with the 147,000 miles on it, the oil is black. There's honestly no point in just replacing the torque converter. You might as well replace the whole trans or get it rebuilt or whatever the case may be. So, like I said, I'm going to give her a couple options here, maybe to buy her some time before it actually goes out. So, we will see. This is, like I said, this is a Honda Accord. I don't know what year it is. What year is this thing? Alright, so this is a, delete the VIN, 2013, it's a 2013 Honda Accord. So yeah. And then I'm gonna move on to this one. This is a Explorer, Ford Explorer. That one also got brought here for transmission problems. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the keys for that one and hook up to it and see what's going on with that one. So we got this 2013 Honda Accord in here. I showed you guys last week troubleshooting this car. It is it has the torque converter shutter going on in the car, and I'm going to show you guys how to do a oil change on it. And the lady said she's never done an oil change, and we're going to do the oil change and the filter replacement in this car, and then we're going to pour some shutter fix in there, and hopefully that'll cure her issue, because it only has about 147,000 miles on it, I think. And I mean, these cars usually last forever. So I know some of you guys ain't got a lift or anything, but whatever. You can jack it up, make sure it's level. And then since this is the 3.6 version and not the 4-cylinder, this does have a real transmission in it. And we're gonna pull this plug right here, and that's gonna drain the transmission fluid. And then up top, we're gonna remove the battery tray and the air box to it, and you'll be able to change the filter, just the inline filter for this car. It's nothing internal, which is nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop the fluid. I already know it's black, and hopefully this saves the transmission. And then last week I didn't video I didn't video this car, but so this is a turbo out of an Infiniti. It snapped the exhaust housing impeller wheel off. And here it is right here, and it ate up the exhaust housing and all kinds of stuff. But we ended up getting a used turbo for I think like 500 bucks and threw in the car, and now it's actually working. To get this bolt out, you're gonna need a big ratchet, because that bad boy is mega tight, and it's just 3/8 drive. Seal. I don't know if the video does it any justice of how dark that fluid is. And then we're going to clean up all the metal on the magnet, get everything cleaned up, and let this drain for a bit. Well, now that we got this all drained out, I cleaned off the magnet, put it back in. We're going to lower the car down, open up the drain or the fill hole up top, and get this thing full of fluid and change out the filter. The fill hole on a 13 Civic or Accord is right down here, right below the crossbar, and you gotta move this hose out the way, and it's 18 down here, and that's your fill for the transmission fluid. And then to know how much it takes, it does have a fill or a dipstick right there. So you just fill it from here and then check it from here. And I think it holds like 3.3 quarts or something like that. Definitely don't want to overfill it, because then you're going to have to try to drain it back out a little bit at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and get this broken free and start filling her up. You just need a long funnel with a small spout on it, like that big, to fit into the hole. And we're just using the Max Life. And then we're also going to put this lube guard called Shutter Fix in this transmission to try to help out with the torque converter shutter. So this is the stuff that we use. This stuff only works if your transmission or a torque converter is just starting to do it. If you use it when it's already bad, it's not going to fix anything. But if it's starting to shudder, you need to put this stuff in there, and 9 times out of 10 it will take care of the issue. So when you're checking the fluid, when you're pouring it in cold, it says hot right there with 2 dots. You want it to be on the bottom dot or a little bit above it when you're filling these with cold oil. Because when you turn the car on and it gets hot, it's going to be up and above, and the last thing you want to do is overfill it and have to drain it back out. So I got mine's a little bit above this bottom dot right here, and we're going to go ahead and take the funnel, put the plug back in it, and then start it up and let it warm up, and then recheck the fluid. So you gotta get the battery tray, the intake or the air filter box, and then there's 2 hidden bolts underneath the tray right here. It's this one and that one, and you just need to loosen those up on this Accord. And then you gotta take this bolt out underneath this tray right here. That bolts onto that right there, but you can take these 2 bolts out, and then the top 2 bolts, lift it up, and then get that bolt out to do the transmission filter, which is right here on this car. This is a little inline filter. So we're going to go ahead and change that, start the car up, and take it for a test drive and see how it feels. So I put the new filter in it, put the battery and the intake, all that stuff back together, adjusted the fluid level. I'm just letting it warm up right now, and then I'm going to cycle it through the gears, and then we should be done. And